Hey everyone, this is Nathan Williams with BlackRain79.com, and I'm back here with another hand history review for you guys. This hand was sent to me by Trev from Australia, and he's playing NL10, and that would be full ring, but there's only 7 players at the table, and he played this on the Winning Poker Network. So let's see how the action plays out here. So Villain 33 comes in for a 3 times raise. And the read that Trev gave me on this guy, I believe this is, there's 2 players involved in this hand. I believe this is the regular, who is a 14% VPIP, 8% preflop raise, and a 4% aggression factor. So, full stack player. I don't mind Trev's decision to make a call here, but I will say that I think it's a little bit on the loose side. I would definitely be fine with just folding this hand as well. Definitely, I would say for you guys that are playing NL2, NL5, that I would, especially if you're just new to the game in general, I would definitely consider I would definitely advise to just fold in this situation, because I think it's just a hand that you don't really need to play in order to show a profit here. I should just make the distinction here that I don't mind making the call from the button or specifically in late position, but in early position here, there's just a lot more players to act. And I think that this is, it's definitely a bit of a speculative call that's going to require some advanced post-flop abilities as well to turn this into a seriously profitable situation. So, bottom line, I don't hate the call here, but, you know, for a lot of you guys, I would say that just folding would be just fine. A lot of times I just fold in this spot, and I have millions of hands played in these games. I'm pretty confident in my post-flop abilities. So anyways, we'll leave it at that with my discussion of the pre-flop action there. So Villain 34 decides to come in for the call as well. The small blind decides to come along as well, and so we got everybody in there. So we come to a flop, super action-heavy board. Like, this is pretty crazy. Every hand in the world hits this. There's so many straight draws, flush draws, 2 pairs, sets, over pairs. There's everything on earth is going to hit this board. So, and as you guys are going to see, this is one of the wackiest, crazy poker hands I've ever seen. And it's going to get crazy. So let's see what happens first. So the short stack, actually, I didn't even mention that before this hand is, or I didn't mention that earlier, is that it's always super important to be aware of the stack sizes in poker before anything else. Villain 37 and Villain 34 both were short stacked to start this hand, so it's super important to consider. I believe Villain 37 is a recreational player. I believe, according to the reads that Trev gave me here, playing 34% of his hands, 10% pre-flop raise, and a 2% aggression factor. So what does that actually mean in this situation? Well, I think that when a recreational player open shoves, again, he's a half stack, so that's basically what that's going to mean is I'm going to call a little bit wider versus somebody who only started with 50 big blinds, or 40 big blinds actually in this case. But also what that means is I think that when he shoves, just open shoves and do 4 players or 3 different players like this, I think that he's always going to have something, but I think that a lot of times he can just have some crap like King 9 or something. Like, he has something, but it's not always specifically the nuts, right? Is basically what I'm getting at here. And like I said, on this board, there are just so many hands that hit this board. It's just unbelievable. So Villain 33, interestingly, makes the call as well. This is actually, now this is kind of one of these almost just a pure math situation where do we have the odds to call here? Now, you can actually, I believe, see the odds right on the screen there of 2.35 to 1. I believe that's correct. So technically, given that we are, 3 to 1, I guess, to hit our flush by the river, I'm assuming that maybe our ace will be good if we hit it. We're not technically getting the odds here, but we almost are, and Villain 33 has a lot of stack behind, so we do have some implied odds. So, you know, I think Trev's decision here to call is fairly standard, I guess. It's just kind of one of those gross spots where, what do we do if Villain 34 shoves now? Thankfully, he just folds. it's one of those just kind of gross spots, guys, where I don't know. This is high variance poker at its finest. I don't think the decisions made in this hand are poor by any means, but it's certainly like it's going to be when you play this hand pre-flop from that position, and now you're kind of roped into making the call here. Basically, it's going to lead to volatile results in the long run. Now, of course, it's always nice when you hit a turn card like that. So let's see how the action plays out on the turn here. So our villain 37 is already all in. Sorry, I kind of went through. So villain 33 checks on the turn here. Villain 37 is already all in, so he doesn't have a say. He's already all in. Villain 33 checks, and Trev makes the only decision I think that makes any sense, of course, which is to shove here. Obviously got the, well, not technically the nuts, but for all intents and purposes, we have the nuts here with the nut flush. Villain 33, interestingly, decides to make the call. What on earth can this guy possibly have to make a call in this situation? On this board, I have no idea. Well, actually, I did review the hand before this, so we're going to get to see it. Guys, this is one of the craziest hands I've ever seen in my life, as you guys are going to see by the hands that get shown down here. I have no idea how villain 33 makes that call on the turn there. I guess pot odds. I don't think he believe he had the odds in that situation to be calling. With pocket sevens, he's only got about 10 outs to improve to a full house, and he's basically always dead to a flush or a straight on the turn. But he decides to call anyways and spikes the old straight flush on the river. Like, oh, duh, of course, right? Interestingly enough, the fish actually flopped a straight. And so super crazy, wacky hand, super crazy hand. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. It's one of those hands where I don't think Trev played it bad in any ways. I just think that it's super high variance poker, and I would say just, I talk about just keeping it simple with these stakes all the time, and just in my opinion, I really would, I would recommend that most of you guys just fold this hand pre-flop and just kind of not get yourself in this situation to begin with. I made a video a little while back called the snowball effect in poker, and this is really kind of another example of it, of just playing a hand that's, a little bit iffy, pre-flop, let's say. And it just kind of puts you in this, we got to call the flop. Oh, hopefully we're good. I mean, we'll hit the flush in the turn, but you know what I mean? It just puts you in one of these high variance poker that's really just not necessary. These stakes, at much higher stakes, this definitely when you get into like NL 100, NL 200 and plus, you definitely have to balance your range and be capable of playing hands like this from all positions. But at stakes like NL2, NL5, and NL10, even NL10 like this, I don't really think it's necessary. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks a lot for sending me this hand, Trev. It was super interesting. Once again, I don't disagree with any of your decisions. I just think it's a little bit high variance poker. I'll just put it that way. Yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts on this hand. Obviously, some of the craziest, one of the wackiest hands I've ever seen. Guy hits the straight flush in the river. Make sure you guys like the video. If you enjoyed this, make sure you subscribe to my channel if you want to see tons more hands like this. I'm always putting out videos. I'm analyzing your guys' hands. You can send me your hand history, by the way. My email address is nathan@blackrain79.com. I will mention that I've been getting a lot of submissions. I'm trying to get to these videos as quickly as possible. So if you do send me your hand, please be a little bit patient. It might take a couple weeks. It might even take a month before I get to it. But I promise everybody sends me a hand, I will get to your hand. And I'm always talking about hands at these stakes, NL2, NL5, NL10. This applies to, if you guys play low stakes live, you'll definitely learn from this as well. And I'm making these hands because these are the games that you guys are actually playing in right now, and hopefully these hand reviews are helping you guys play better in your games. So also, lastly, make sure you download my free ebook. It's the link in the description. That will give you my complete strategy on how I crush the micros online. So with that said, thanks a lot for watching, guys. It's been Nathan Williams with BlackRain79.com.